It was around midnight. A 22-year-old girl was married to an 80-year-old man. On the first night of the wedding, the 80-year-old man did something that reached the doctor. When his second wife took the girl to the doctor, when the doctor saw the girl, he was shocked. And yes, if you read the whole story, your senses will also be shocked. So, if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Salma was a girl who had a dream in her eyes. At the age of 22, she was not only beautiful, but also intelligent and determined. She belonged to a middle-class family, where her parents, Muhammad Yunus and Rukhsana, were traditionalists. Salma had studied till college with her own hard work, and her dream was to become a doctor. She would stay up at night studying, making plans for her future, and setting an example for the girls of her village. She wanted to become a doctor, but her life turned upside down when her father called her one day and said, "Salma, your marriage is fixed." Salma's ears were like lightning. Marriage, now? She asked in surprise. She was just preparing for her medical college entrance, whereas Abu, she dared to ask, Muhammad Yunus seriously. With Haji Nazir Ahmed, he is the most respected and richest man in our village. With this relationship our family will earn respect and our financial problems will also be solved. As if a stone was placed on Salma's heart. Haji Nazir Ahmed was an 80-year-old old man whose 2 wives had already died. He wanted to get married for the 3rd time and his eyes fell on Salma. Salma pleaded with her mother Rukhsana. "Amma, I don't want this marriage. I want to study. I want to fulfill my dreams." But Rukhsana said with tears, "Daughter, we are forced. If we reject this relationship, our honor will be buried in the dust." Salma's world was plunged into darkness. She agreed to this relationship while sacrificing her dreams, but her heart was crying every moment. The wedding day was approaching quickly. Salma was decorated in a red dress, but that sparkle was missing in her eyes. The people of the village were talking about Haji Nazir Ahmed's wealth and honor, but for Salma, it was all a burden. There was a strange uneasiness in her heart, as if someone was warning her that her life would never be the same again. At the time of marriage, when the judge asked her for acceptance, Salma's voice was trembling. She said yes 3 times, but every word was stuck in her throat. Haji Nazir Ahmed looked at her with a smile and there was a sparkle in his eyes that made Salma even more anxious. After the wedding rituals were over, Salma was taken to a large room. The decoration of the room was luxurious, but the dim light of the old chandelier on its walls was like a nightmare for Salma. She was sitting in a corner of the bed, wrapped in a thick blanket. Her hands were trembling with cold. A red scarf was on her face, but her eyes were full of fear and anxiety. The door opened and Haji Nazir Ahmed entered the room. There was a strange sharpness in his gait that was contrary to his age. He was wearing a white shirt and pajamas, and his beard had silver-like hair shining. Salma lowered her eyes, but her heart was beating fast. She remained silent, hoping that perhaps he would understand her condition. "Salma, my dear," Haji Nazir Ahmed said with a strange smile. There was a tone in his voice that made Salma even more anxious. He came closer to the bed and sat down next to him. Salma gathered herself even more, as if she wanted to protect herself from this moment. Haji Sahib, I am a little nervous, Selma stammered, her voice trembling. Please give me some time. I am not ready yet. She worked up the courage to speak her mind, hoping that he would understand her. But Haji Nazir Ahmed let out a loud laugh. Time? Hey Selma, this is the first night of marriage. This is the time for love, not for panic. He tried to remove Selma's dupatta, but Selma immediately grabbed her dupatta. Haji Sahib, please I beg you, just leave me alone tonight. Her plea fell on Haji Nazir Ahmed's ears, but a cold smile spread on his face. You are my wife Selma. It is your duty to obey your husband. He grabbed Selma's hand and his grip was so tight that Selma's hand started to hurt. Selma tried to resist. No, please, Haji Sahib, this is not right. His voice was filled with fear and anger, but Haji Nazir Ahmed did not listen to him. He forcibly pulled Selma towards him and tried to tear her clothes. Selma's screams echoed off the walls of the room, but no one came from outside to help. That night, Haji Nazir Ahmed. He made unnatural and inhuman demands on Selma. He trampled on her self-respect and ignored her every plea. When he was satisfied with his desires, he lay down on the bed and within a few minutes, snoring began. Selma, whose body and heart were riddled with wounds, got up from the bed with difficulty. Her dress was torn and her body was covered in bruises. She went to the bathroom crying and tried to clean herself. When the water hit her wounds, she screamed in pain, but even more than that, her heart was crying. She saw her face in the mirror, which now looked like a stranger. When she returned from the bathroom, Haji Nazir Ahmed had woken up again. His eyes were fixed on Selma again. Come, my dear, there's still night left, he said, and his voice had the same terrifying tone. Selma pleaded once again. Just Haji Sahib, I fall at your feet, leave me alone. But his words had no effect. Haji Nazir Ahmed forced himself on her again and Selma's screams were once again swallowed by the walls of the room. By morning, Selma's condition had deteriorated so much that she could barely breathe. Her body was racked with pain and her spirit was broken. After the first night of marriage, Selma's condition was as if a spirit had left her body. Her face had turned yellow and her eyes had lost the sparkle that had once been her identity. Her body was racked with pain and the wounds on her heart were so deep that she could barely breathe. In the morning, when Begum Nadia, Haji Nazir Ahmed's second wife, came into the room, she saw Selma's condition and her face turned red with anger, but this anger was for Selma and not for her husband. What kind of drama are you playing? Begum Nadia said in a sarcastic tone. You have come as a newlywed bride and started crying. Serve your husband, it is your duty, Selma said. Serve him, it is your duty. Selma tried to express her pain, but her voice got stuck in her throat. She said only this. Begum, I am not well, take me to the doctor. Begum Nadia stared at Selma from head to toe, as if she did not believe her words, but seeing Selma's pale condition, she realized that if nothing was done, the word might spread in the village. Okay. Let's go to the doctor, but don't make too much noise. Take care of the family's honor, she said in a stern tone. Begum Nadia took Selma to a small clinic outside the village, where Dr. Humaira, an experienced and compassionate female doctor, worked. The clinic was a simple building, but the atmosphere there was calm. When Salma entered the clinic, her steps were unsteady. Dr. Humera realized Salma's condition at a glance. Her face was yellow and her body had clear marks of indigo. "Daughter, what happened?" Dr. Humera asked softly while concern was clearly visible in her eyes. Begum Nadia immediately cut in and said, "Nothing. Just a new bride. A little pain. You should see her and give her some medicine." But Dr. Humera ignored Begum Nadia's words and asked Salma to examine her in private. When Begum Nadia left the room, Dr. Humera held Salma's hand and encouraged her. "Daughter, tell me the truth, what happened to you?" There was such warmth in her voice that Salma's courage was broken. She told the whole story while crying, the terrible experience of the first night of marriage, Haji Nazir Ahmed's coercion, and ignoring her pleas. Dr. Humera's tears came out. "This is injustice, Salma. This is not marriage. This is a crime." Dr. Humera examined Salma and was shocked to see her injuries. There were marks of indigo, scratches and signs of severe physical pain on her body. Dr. Humera immediately gave Salma medicine and instructed her to rest. Then she called Begum Nadia and spoke in a stern tone. "Begum, this girl is going through severe trauma and physical injuries. You should be ashamed that you are hiding this injustice from your husband. She needs complete rest for a few days. You should tell Haji Nazir Ahmed not to even touch this girl, at least until she recovers completely." Begum Nadia bowed her head, but anger and disgust were clearly visible in her eyes. "Okay, doctor, I will take care of it," but her tone made it clear that she was not taking this instruction seriously. As soon as she reached home, Begum Nadia spoke to Haji Nazir Ahmed in private, but he completely ignored Dr. Humera's instruction and Haji. He misrepresented. Haji Sahib. Salma complained to the doctor that she was in a little pain. The doctor said that it was just the delicate nature of the new bride. If she rested for a few days, she would be fine. He deliberately hid the doctor's original instructions and tried to make it appear that Salma's condition was not serious. Haji Nazir Ahmed smiled and said, "Well then, it is just a bruise. Okay, I will see to it myself." Begum Nadia did not try to stop him. On the contrary, he called Salma and said, "Look, don't make too much drama. Haji Sahib wants to meet you. Correct your attitude and listen to him." A new wave of fear rose in Salma's heart. She pleaded with Begum Nadia, "Begum, please. The doctor had said that I need rest. Please tell Haji Sahib to leave me alone for a few days." But Begum Nadia blew his words away. "Just do these things. You are a wife. Do your duty." The second night, when Salma was sitting alone in her room, Haji Nazir Ahmed came to her again. His eyes had the same terrible gleam that Salma had seen the first night. "Salma, my dear, are you okay?" he said with false sympathy. Salma curled herself up in the corner of the bed and said tremblingly, "Haji Sahib, please, the doctor has said that I need rest. Please leave me alone." But Haji Nazir Ahmed ignored his words. "Hey, these doctors are just making up stories. You are my wife and I want to love you." He grabbed Salma's hand and his grip was so tight that Salma's hand started to hurt. Salma tried to resist. "No, Haji Sahib, this is not right. The doctor has forbidden it." His voice was filled with fear and anger, but Haji Nazir Ahmed did not listen to him. He started again forcefully and Salma's screams once again hit the walls of the room. Her condition got worse than before and new wounds formed on her body. When Haji Nazir Ahmed was satisfied by fulfilling his desires, he lay down on the bed and the sound of snoring started. Salma, who was now completely broken, got up from the bed with difficulty. She went to the bathroom and tried to clean herself, but blood was flowing from her wounds. She stood in front of the mirror and looked at her face, which now looked like a stranger. She decided that she would get out of this hell, no matter how hard it was. The next day Salma told Begum Nadia that she would go to her parents. She wants to go. Begum Nadia tried to stop her, but Salma said, "If you don't let me go, I will tell everything to the villagers." Hearing this, Begum Nadia got scared and allowed her to go. Salma reached her parents' house and told them the whole story. The story of Haji Nazir Ahmed's coercion, Begum Nadia's misrepresentation, and ignoring Dr. Humaira's instructions. Muhammad Yunus and Rukhsana were shocked. They started blaming themselves for their daughter's condition. "We shouldn't have had this relationship," Rukhsana said while crying. Salma told her parents, "Abu Aman, I can't bear this cruelty anymore. I want a divorce." When Haji Nazir Ahmed came to know that Salma had gone to her parents, he reached her house full of anger. But when he saw that Salma's parents were with him, he changed his tone. "Salma, I apologize. I made a mistake. Come back. I promise it won't happen again." But Salma rejected his apology. "You have hurt my honor and spirit. I can never trust you." Her parents also supported Salma. Muhammad Yunus said, "Haji Sahib, you have wronged our daughter. Now we want to end this relationship." Salma approached the court with the help of Dr. Humaira and filed for divorce. Dr. Humaira presented a report of her injuries in the court, and after a few months of legal proceedings, Salma got a divorce. She was free, but her heart was still hurt. After the divorce, Salma decided to rebuild her life. She resumed her education and enrolled in a medical college. Dr. Humaira became her guide and encouraged her at every step. Salma not only completed her education, but also started working as a social worker. She started educating the girls of the village about education and independence and raised her voice for women's rights. A few years later, Salma met Shaf, who was an educated and compassionate person. Kashif accepted Salma's past and appreciated her struggle. The two got married, and this time Salma's marriage was as she was married to a man who respected her. Her life was filled with happiness, and Salma fulfilled her dreams by becoming a successful doctor and making her village famous. Salma's story is a lesson for every girl who sacrifices her self-respect in the name of social pressure or traditions. Marriage is a sacred relationship, but it should be based on the consent and respect of both parties. Playing with women's lives in the name of age difference, financial pressure, or social traditions is unacceptable. Salma proved that every woman has the right to speak up for her rights and can rebuild her life, no matter how difficult the circumstances are. If you liked the story,